Hi everybody, my name is Bill Casey. I'm a former Member of Parliament for Colchester. I recently did a post on my Facebook page about Isle Haute. It's an island off of Advocate, and just to make it clear, I love talking about this island, so I might be a little long on this video. It's an uninhabited, pristine island, just the same as it was thousands of years ago when Indigenous peoples went there to celebrate events. And then when Samuel de Champlain arrived there in 1604, he named it High Island because of the high cliffs. If you can see the cliffs here, and one of the outstanding features of the island is the high cliffs, and that gave it its name, Isle Haute. In any case, my brother and I used to go to the island often, and perhaps once every summer if we could. And one day I was just reading this magazine called Canadian Geographic in January 2001 issue. I was just leafing through the magazine and I came across this article. For sale, one island. For centuries, tiny Isle Haute off Nova Scotia shore in the Bay of Fundy has hosted Aboriginals, picnickers, and scientists alike. Its cornucopia of flora, fauna, and stunning geological features is now on the auction block. I couldn't believe it. The island belongs then to the Government of Canada, was used for a lighthouse station. The station burned down in 1957, and it had now been deemed redundant and it was going to be sold. I just couldn't believe that this pristine, wonderful island could be sold to anybody. It could go to a Russian oligarch or somebody. Anyway, I was very much afraid that it would leave our hands and we would lose this very pristine and majestic island. So because of our wonderful parliamentary system, which is another part of this message I want to talk about, I'm able to, as a member of the opposition, walk across the floor, sit down with the Minister of Parks Canada and say, we can't sell this island, or plead the case at least. I took the article over to him. I said, Mr. Anderson, his name's David Anderson. He's an MP from British Columbia, but he's also the Minister of Parks Canada. And I said, Mr. Anderson, you can't sell this island. It's absolutely pristine. It's just the way it was hundreds of years ago, and it should not be sold. He kind of listened to me, but I didn't know for sure if it sunk in. So I went back to my own desk on the other side of the floor of the House of Commons, and I started contacting Parks Canada officials and Nova Scotia government officials. I got no response from anybody until about 2 weeks later. David Anderson, the minister, came back across the floor and sat down beside me, and he said, I had to go to Halifax in a hurry and get back for the vote, so I took the government plane. And on the way back, I told the pilot to go out in the Bay of Fundy and find that island that Bill Casey's whining about. So we found the island, we flew around it once, and we were amazed. And then he said, we flew around it again, and he said, I'm here to tell you, we're not going to sell that island. Well, I was shocked, amazed, and so grateful. So that started a process in 2001 to have it turned into a wilderness preserve. And over the next 24 years, it's been going through the process, and finally, just recently in January of this year, 2025, it was finally declared a wilderness preserve and will be preserved forever. It's a home for Indigenous species of great blue herons and great cormorants and other Indigenous species which have no place else to go. And I think that it was a wise decision to save it. I'm so glad the government reacted the way they did, and all the officials and the government minister, especially Minister Anderson, and then later Minister Catherine McKenna, another Minister of Environment and Parks Canada, later on really took a big interest in it and helped push it along and get it across the finish line. But it's a tremendous island. It's beautiful. It looks like an alligator in this picture a little bit. The kids think it looks like an alligator when they look at it, but it's a wonderful island. There's stories about treasure hunts that have taken place there, and pirates' treasure, and all kinds of things that have gone on the island. But people have gone there and camped. People have stayed overnight. People have visited where the lighthouse used to be. The lighthouse was burnt down in 1957, but the foundation is still there, and much of the mechanism from the lighthouse is still there in the basement of the foundation. And it's just a real treasure. It's a big part of Nova Scotia history. I'm glad we were able to save it. I'm so grateful to all the people that helped put it together, the two ministers, all the officials, CBC did a wonderful video on it on their Land and Sea program called Mystery Island, I believe it is. It's a Land and Sea program, but it's an excellent program. If you want to know more about Isle Haute, I recommend you just Google Land and Sea, Isle Haute, and you'll see a 20-minute video, which I think is excellent. They put a lot of work in it, did a great job, and helped raise public awareness about Isle Haute, which in the end helped get it across the finish line and saved. So that's a little more history on Isle Haute. I hope that's helpful, and tune in. We're going to do some more of these and provide some more information on the projects that I've been involved with over the last 30 years. Thanks very much and have a great day.